This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about Pandora's Box from 1929. Ooh. Yeah, I know. Directed by George Wilhelm Pabst.
Oh, the legend.
No tagline for this film, apparently, RJ, but we have a synopsis. Sure. Lulu is a young woman so beautiful and alluring that few can resist her siren charms. The men drawn into her web include respectable newspaper publisher Dr. Ludwig Schoen, his musical producer son, Alwa, and circus performer Rodrigo Quast, and Lulu's seedy old friend, Shigalch. When Lulu's charms inevitably lead to tragedy, the downward spiral encompasses them all.
Yeah, that's totally accurate. It's 100% what happens in this movie. 100%.
So, RJ, what do you know about George Wilhelm Pabst?
What don't I know?
Wilhelm.
What don't I know? Ask me. I got it all.
Okay. Where was he born?
Wilhelm, Austria.
Okay.
Vienna.
Yeah.
Vienna specifically.
Okay.
What else?
When did he die?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many movies did he direct?
1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this regarded as his best film?
Some would say that, but a lot of people say Weekend at Bernie's is not his best, but a better film. Do you know what I mean? Like, people enjoy that one more, but they acknowledge its flaws. So, yeah. What else you got, Mattress Man?
Well, I had seen this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of during those I'm pretty sure it was pre-podcast days when one wouldn't be so foolish as to watch a Criterion film out of order, knowing that you have to watch it over again. But
do you like the choices? Are you happy with the choices you made?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. But I do own a copy of this.
Oh, well, what's that fetch you these days?
Who knows? 40. These, I think, new are like $40.
Okay.
Yeah. But Criterion Channel's kind of rendered that moot. I mean, unless you're really into those features.
For now, but I mean, they have a rotating lineup, right? So one day it could be off of there.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, my memory of the movie was that it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. And it's like, okay. That was kind of my memory of it, just being like, yeah, it's a movie. In particular, even in terms of like silent film stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, it seems influential, but it's not.
Sure.
This movie is about one thing and one thing only, and that is Louise Brooks, who I believe is probably solely responsible for this film's interest from film buffs, aka cinephiles.
Oh, could you describe what that means?
Well, all I can tell you is that they're really into movies, but they're also horny people.
In what way?
And that they find visual pleasure in looking at things sometimes, and some of those things are like silent film stars.
Visual what? I didn't get that.
Cinematic stars.
No, you said visual something.
What?
Pleasure.
Visual pleasure.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Oh,
that's
okay. So you did. So you did actually hear what I said.
No, I needed confirmation. I didn't know if that was accurate or not. That's why I follow up sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I need confirmation sometimes on the words that you say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after they fap to things, they
do what?
They masturbate enough
okay.
at theaters. I think that's what they do. They jerk off, and then and then they talk about it afterwards with other.
Who do they talk about it to?
Film lovers, fellow film lovers, and they go, "How do you see that? That really got me going, didn't it, Winston?" And then Daryl goes, "Yeah."
Like Winston from Ghostbusters?
No, RJ. Winston's not real.
Are you?
He's a Ghostbuster.
You tell me that Ghostbusters isn't real?
Mm-hmm. So, after they finish masturbating, watching some undiscovered gem, back in the 60s, as you do, they go, "More people need to watch this. The word needs to get out." There's a real hottie. There's a real hottie.
Well, Ernie Hudson
and she's
is pretty hot.
She's old timey.
What does that mean?
Do you like bangs, RJ?
Timeless.
The Louise Brooks haircut. It's legendary.
What about the Mel Brooks haircut?
Describe it. I don't really. His haircut doesn't jump out at me.
That's a personal.
What
flaw
about the Albert Brooks haircut?
Also good. Yeah, he has bangs.
Does he?
Yeah, of course.
I don't believe he does.
Have you not seen Drive?
I have.
He's got bangs in Drive, dude. 100%. I'm looking at him right now. Yeah. Nothing but bangs.
Nothing but bangs. You can't even see his face.
Can't even see. It's just. It's like a broom.
Right.
Yeah. Terrific.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So, as a film lover, RJ.
Yeah, of course.
How many times did you fap while watching this movie?
I don't really like to share personal information on the internet.
Okay, so twice. Okay, so I think that is one of the main reasons this movie is popular.
Is what? Film buff?
Film buffs buffing themselves. Know
what I'm saying,
RJ?
Do you think it's because of the movie itself, or do you think it's just silent films?
But it's classy. Well, that adds. That's just like more to it. I mean,
okay.
How often can you watch a silent film and be like, yes?
Well, how many times have you watched The Master, the Academy Award-winning Best Picture?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
So you qualify as a film buff, potentially.
Possibly. I do have a.
I would say
I do have a Letterboxd account. And I have a movie podcast that I co-host.
What's a podcast?
So, watching Pandora's Box again. It's kind of like, oh, well, let's see how this runs. So, one of my notes here, RJ, is monocles look painful.
Yeah, because you kind of have to squint the whole time.
Forever. Yeah, forever. Yeah. You have to, just squint your face, your cheek fat and your eyebrow, meet and squish this thing into place so it doesn't fall out all the time until you're so shocked that your face just goes and then your monocle goes plink into your cup of tea.
What sound does it make?
Plink.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How many times have you dropped a monocle in a hot drink?
Haven't had the opportunity yet.
You haven't had the privilege.
I have to wear my regular old spectacles.
And I got to tell you,
spectacles.
They look lame as shit.
Yeah, they're not monocle, that's for sure.
You should do a double monocle.
A bionicle?
A bionicle.
Yeah.
Bionicles.
Yeah.
Biden's bringing those back, I think.
Yeah, is that one of his new pushes?
It was an executive order, I believe.
Oh, an executive? Okay. Well, it's got to go through the House eventually.
Well,
and then the Senate. Forget about it.
With
this Supreme Court?
With a man in the White House?
No.
I don't know. We'll see.
So, anyway. So this movie opens up, pretty well, right in there. There's a bit of an overture. Yep. And you're just like, oh, who are these characters?
I think I made a note. I think the overture ends at 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something.
I think the movie gets going about almost 5 minutes in. And I was like, oh, RG will be happy that this movie is a little bit shorter than he thought it was going to be at 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, and we can discuss what my initial response to this movie was. Ahead.
What was your initial reaction? What did you do?
You tell me, Jared, because I texted you, I think, about 5 minutes into this film, as soon as the overture was done.
I think it was just fuck off. No more. You're out. You're done.
I believe I said something along the lines of, are you fucking kidding me? Because I saw that it was 2 hours and 12 minutes, but I did not know that this was a silent film. Because, as you know, I do no prep. I like to go in clean. Clean.
Like you do in all things.
Always sterile. I go in sterile
just
every time.
The way you like your lovers.
Sterile. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are we doing here? You trying to repopulate the Earth? This thing's dying, dude. It's dying. Sterility. Yeah, so I was completely struck by this because I did not know that going into it. And
you were happy about it.
That's a word.
Yeah.
It's a word.
So Lulu is she's living in a fairly well-appointed little loft. She got a pretty swanky little place that she's occupying, and she has gentleman callers. It would appear. So yeah, her main squeeze is this guy, this Dr. Ludwig
Mabuse.
Schoon, and I don't know. He's an older man. He's got his younger lady that he pays visits to. Well, one day, this old guy, this disreputable man, shows up, and she's like all super excited to see him. And there's these like conversations between the two that are going on, but you don't know what they're saying because there's no subtitle, there's no like intertitle to say what it is.
It's happening off panel.
Well, it's happening on the screen, but it's in the metaverse.
Well, Jarrett, movies nowadays don't know the finesse it takes to allow you to fill in the gaps. Do you know what I mean?
Were you aware, RJ, that it was very scandalous that Louise Brooks, an American actress, was playing this role for this German film?
Was it Scarlett Johansson? Like, she's not allowed to play a German person?
Exactly.
Okay. Oh. All right, that's fine.
Hey, it was the Weimar Republic. Things were happening.
The Myanmar Republic? Is that what you said?
Weimar?
Don't go to Burma, Jarrett.
Oh my goodness.
Have you not seen Rocky?
I've seen Rocky.
Have you not seen Rambo?
Rambone.
Yeah. Don't go to Burma or Myanmar. Either one.
Yeah.
Bad stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she's hanging out with this guy. He's a real scamp, real scoundrel. But when the doctor comes in knocking, she's like, "Oh dear, you have to hide out on the patio." Hijinks ensues. This guy's come to inform her that he's getting married.
Is that bad?
And she's like, "Well, that doesn't matter, sweetie. We can still make it. You know, we can still hang out. You know what I'm saying?" And he's like, "No." But then he's almost kind of convinced. Yeah. I like this broad. I like her, but you know, she's not good stock. You know, RJ. She's not the type of woman that you marry, RJ.
Why not?
I don't know. It's 1929 times. So, or I guess it's 1888 or something like that.
Well, when did Jack the Ripper reign?
About there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pre Jack the Ripper. Spoiler.
Unrelated. No, that's just unrelated. I was just curious.
Yeah. RJ's he's been reading From Hell lately.
Oh yeah, that's a book that I own.
Yeah. So
yeah, I own that.
So anyways, this scamp, one thing leads to another. He's too noisy. And this guy finds out. He's like, "What is going on here?" And he storms off. And she's like, "Oh, nuts."
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Act 1.
Yeah, of course.
Act 2, we go over to Dr. Ludwig Schoen's son, Anwa's place. He's a music man. You know about music?
I know the Music Man.
The Music Man?
I know the Music Man. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it turns out he's also friends with Lulu.
In what capacity?
Wow. He's like an associate of her, and he'd also like to get with her, but she's banging his dad.
Oh, okay.
No.
Is that good?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I gotta ask.
Well, when you found yourself in a similar situation, what did you do?
What did I do? I don't like to discuss personal information on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a rule.
I should have mentioned too. So after the newspaper man, J. Jonah Jameson leaves, this Schligulch and his buddy Quast Rodrigo, they want Lulu to join their trapeze act.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? That's what you do back in the olden times.
Yeah, of course.
So she shows up, and you know, there's the awkwardness now of her hanging around. Well, she's like, "You used to bang my dad."
Yeah. That conversation, hey? That old chestnut?
Yeah, everyone hates that one when that comes up. But then when Dr. Ludwig finds out that she's going to like run away and join the circus, he's like, oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to give her own show. She's going to be a dancer. And I'm going to promote it. It's like very Citizen Kane-esque. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. It's like, okay. Because he still wants to keep her under his heel, I guess, even though he's like, I can't marry you. You're not good enough. You're not good enough to marry. I got a nice lady that I'm going to marry instead. Mm-hmm. But I want to keep you around. This seems to be the implication.
What do you do with implications? Generally,
you watch movies about them.
Oh, okay.
And you project them onto the screen.
There are some implications in this bad boy.
Oh yeah.
A couple implications.
Yeah. So then we get to Act 3. Which is a night of one of these performances, and the night that she's going to be performing, but the other woman that Dr. Ludwig's going to marry is there, and she's like, I won't dance for her, and she puts on a whole scene. Ludwig has to try to get her on because the show must go on, but she's just like, no, I don't care about that. And then they go to the back room, to the storeroom, and she gets him, RJ. She gets him. And she, in a way that the fiance comes in, walks in, sees Dr. Ludwig in an untoward state, and all that Lulu can do is mirthfully smile.
What does mirthful mean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you read a fucking book, RJ?
I don't need to. I thought you had the answer. If you're gonna use a word, you gotta tell me.
Or people could learn words. Full of mirth, merry, or amusing.
What am I going to read a dictionary? Get out of here.
We keep reading your Stephen Kings. He'll tell you all about corduroy.
He doesn't talk. Yeah, he only talks about chambray blue shirts and, a corn dog at a gas station, like on the highway. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's all he talks about, dude. Yeah. Mirth. I know about myrrh. Do you know about myrrh?
Nope.
And frankincense?
Oh, myrrh.
Myrrh, frankincense, and myrrh.
That's some of that Bible crap, huh?
Those are real things. They exist.
They do.
You can buy myrrh right now.
One of the few things that exist in there.
You could buy myrrh right now. Let's see, myrrh on on Amazon.
What on Etsy?
Etsy. I don't know if there's
any artisanal myrrh.
Let me see, artisanal myrrh. Handmade myrrh wool rug. $244. Are you interested?
Hell of a deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll get you a couple. Yeah. Just e-transfer me the bill. The money.
The fiance walks out on this guy and he's like, well, I guess I got to marry Lulu now.
Yeah, I've been there.
So there's a wedding. This is now Act 4, I guess. And things go wonky, haywire, because the old Schligolch and Quast show up. There's like bedroom hangout hanky-pank, and then Dr. Ludwig comes in. He's like, what is going on here? And this is, of course, when we find out that apparently old Schligolch is Lulu's dad.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah. And then you go, oh, when there's that line about my first patron. And you go, like as in he kept care of her? Is that like a wink? Is that the winky line to it, or is it more questionable than that?
I think it's open-ended.
Okay.
Yeah, is what I would say.
Like a lot of things.
Yeah, open-ended. It's mirthful, some would say.
So with this final travesty of betrayal, Sean immediately is like regretting his decision here. And he puts it to his wife to be like, hey, I'm going to hand you this gun. You should just shoot yourself.
That's how they do it, eh?
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't want to kill myself, but I can't go on living like this, so do the right thing. That's new. That's bold. That's a new I don't recall that playing out in the Criterion Collection before.
I mean, we get that on the Discord a lot.
Yeah.
Like, frequently, I would say.
I think you can get removed from Discord for that kind of thing. So you shouldn't be making allegations of things that aren't true, RJ.
You talk to your friends.
You shouldn't be lying. You don't even use it.
I saw it once.
No.
I saw it once. I saw enough.
Yeah.
I saw enough.
You saw enough.
World needs less, and world needs more.
So
you
anyway,
know what I mean?
So Lulu's not going to shoot herself, as it turns out, weirdly.
Sure.
But there's a struggle, and can you guess what happens next?
Power struggle?
Power struggle? Gun struggle?
Gun struggle?
Gun goes off, and Ludwig's dead, and of course, that puts us right into Act 6, and we get a little courtroom drama for an act, and there's a weighing of whether or not she was guilty of it, whether her reasons were good enough, or if they're truthful, and there's some very sad-faced German dudes who go, sorry, gotta send you to jail. But we're not going to give you the death penalty, but you did kill the guy accidentally, and it looks bad. It's a bad look.
Well, manslaughter is a thing.
It is.
They don't use that word here.
No. And then in sort of like the only thing that could really happen, it seems like in silent films, where someone basically says fire, and then in the confusion of your trial, you just get to escape.
You get freed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it worked for a lot of people that are on our Patreon.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys got out that way.
Called fire.
Well, yeah, you're in a courthouse. What are they going to do? Keep an eye on you?
No.
And protect themselves? I don't know. No way.
So now we catch up back with the son of the dead man. He goes back to the house and finds her there, and of course, they just love. He loves her. He always did. Hey, let's get out of the country. Let's flee.
Where would you flee?
I haven't really been anywhere to know where I would definitely be happy to go. So I don't know.
Belize?
I'd have to do a little. No, sounds bad.
You don't want to hang out with John McAfee or wherever that guy went?
No, I don't.
McAfee?
I don't want to go where he wound up.
Well, he was doing some stuff that you might be into.
Killing yourself in a jail cell, wink.
No, not that. The other thing. The hammock thing. Do you know about the hammock thing he was doing?
I heard about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you.
I don't know. These are the things that you're looking into instead of learning new words. But
I already got enough words. I don't need more words.
You don't need no words.
Don't need no more words.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, back at beforehand, there was at the wedding reception, there was this countess that Lulu was dancing with, and the implication, RJ, is that it's a lesbian.
Is that shocking for the time?
On the screen?
Well, what about in real life?
Well, I mean, these were olden times. I'm not sure how fast and loose things were, but hey, it was the Weimar Republic.
The Myanmar Republic.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see, when I don't understand stuff you say, I just say stuff.
You do.
You see how that works?
I see how it works.
I'm John Q. Everyman.
No.
Yeah. So when Joe Blow,
it's a good thing nobody listens. That's all I have to say.
Well, when Joe Blow from Milwaukee is also confused, he'll appreciate my canter. Everyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
So this
lesbians.
The lesbian, yes, Countess, yes, RJ.
Yeah.
She's also infatuated with Lulu because no one can get enough of Lulu, including film fans. And she assists them in their escape from the country. I think involving like a passport or something, pretending to be her.
Yeah. I think that is.
And anyway, so
what happens.
Yeah, so she gets away. They're on this thing on a train. I'm not sure where we're on Act 7 now.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. And then so of course someone recognizes her, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well you gotta
grease the wheels a bit.
Grease the wheels a bit. Give me a taste, financial taste."
Yeah.
And anybody also suggests, "Hey, you can go onto this illegal gambling den," as Wikipedia describes it.
Yeah, I think it's a marketplace thing, like a Facebook thing,
right? Of its time,
something like that. Yeah.
Well, anyway, this Marquis Castipiani guy, not great. Sells Lulu into a brothel.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yep. And then I think Quast is also like shaking down Lulu too. Like all her friends, all her colleagues, all these bad people, they're all taking advantage of old Lulu. Old carefree Lulu, never had a worry in the world. Laughed, breaking up relationships, laughing her way to the bank. Here she is now.
Well, who hasn't been there?
And you have all Alva, the poor son, who's a real simp. RJ, you know what that means?
Could you define it for me?
Simp,
like a Simpson?
Like a Simpson.
Oh, okay. Like a Homer or like a Marge? Homer?
Like a Mo. More of a Sislak.
So like reliable, dependable, good friend?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then let's see. Then eventually things are righted, and how does it go? She wants it back in London. She goes to London in hiding. And then Jack the Ripper shows up. And he doesn't want to kill anybody. He even throws his knife away. And but then she finds a knife in the place when they go in there. She's all smiles and so welcoming. He's like, I guess gotta do it. And then we get and then we get some Salvation Army parade business. People
are very distraught in that parade.
Oh, it's terrible. And they're
very distraught.
Because, hey, watch out, women. Jack's out there.
Well, it's funny because he commented, but I was going to say that same sign went up when the Grangers were in England a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was women beware, curfew. Something is out there.
Yeah.
It was Oliver.
Bill in Milwaukee loves those updates, I bet.
Bill Milwaukee?
Yeah, Bill from Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah, he's part of the Discord.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the guy who started the Brothers in Christ channel.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a big fan.
That's going to have to be its own Discord, I think. I think it's going to be too successful.
No, that's just got to be woven into the fabric of things.
So this movie is based on a play called El Geist from 1895 and Die Bouche de Pandora from 1904. You know about that one? Everyone's favorite. Well, apparently when this movie was made, it was viewed as a bastardization of all those things. And was rejected. It was rejected by audiences. Nobody went to see it. The dark ending was cut because no one liked bummer endings. It just never found it. It never found its audience till much later.
2020.
In the 1950s, remember those film scholars? Remember way back when I was talking about masturbating?
Well, when are you not?
Well, listen to this description. Though it was largely dismissed by critics upon initial release, Pandora's Box was rediscovered by film scholars in the 1950s and began to accrue acclaim. Eventually earning the reputation of being an unsung classic. It is now considered one of the classics of Weimar Germany's cinema, along with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Metropolis, The Last Laugh, and The Blue Angel. Brooks's talent as an actress, which had been criticized upon the film's initial release, specifically by German critics, was also subject to international reappraisal and acclaim from the likes of European critics such as Lotte H. Eisner, Henry Longwis, and David Thompson, all masturbating.
Oh, just so influential. Those guys.
Well, the biggest masturbator of them all, Roger Ebert, reviewed the film in 1998 with great praise and remarked of Brooks's presence that she regards us from the screen as if the screen was not there. She casts away the artifice of film and invites us to play with her.
Is that what you?
I did not read that before.
Is that what you got from this?
No. I was looking at the runtime, being like, "Oh man."
Good.
You know who also funded a restoration of this film, RJ?
Who's that?
Hugh Hefner. Guess what he makes?
Adult content for adult people.
The restoration was screened at the 2012 San Francisco Silent Film Festival. In their program, the festival noted as a heavily censored film that deals with the psychological elements of sexual repression. Pandora's Box meets two of Hefner's charitable objectives, artistic expression, and a pristine new film, both finally unfurled after decades of frustration. It's about jerking off, RJ. Unfurled. And hey, oh, fuck. Okay. I don't know if you caught this. So you know the bit where she's laying on the bed, and she's like not going to go out on stage, and she's like kicking her feet up and down, and Ludwig's just sitting there, and he's like watching her, and I'm like, oh, there's some like Quentin Tarantino's just going in his pants at that. I just see, of course, Quentin Tarantino listed the movie among his 10 greatest films of all time.
What are the other 9?
It changes all the time, but
I see.
But I think that is kind of probably, one could say, the origin of the Uma Thurman haircut from Pulp Fiction. It was the yeah.
I'd say it's more like the
possibly.
I mean, it could be. I'd say Michael Madsen more though.
So RJ, I guess what I'm saying is the success of this film is about like how horny you are. So RJ, did this movie make you horny, and why?
I prefer not to disclose personal information on the internet. You go first.
Well, I asked you. There's no guest on the show. You can't deflect.
I can deflect. I can always deflect.
I put you to the question.
I don't know if there's ever a movie that has evoked a physical response in me.
Really? Not even revulsion? Anger?
Ever. Except Green Room made me sweaty.
Yeah, see? I was going to say, you're full of shit.
Sweaty, though. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's not horny. That's just sweaty. How sweaty did you get watching this film?
Not at all.
You weren't sweating?
No.
Okay. So, answer your question now. How horny are you?
Well, the question was, RJ, what do you think of this film? Because I feel like this movie is just at 2 hours and 13 minutes of silent film action. There's not enough there. It's a little straightforward for my tastes. I don't know. I think Oliver Granger, who we poo-poo often jokingly on the pod.
I've never done that.
On the Discord, he made some fair points of just like, you want something that looks cool. You want something that like has that like visual panache. And like I would say that the best points of Pandora's Box, and like I was on board with this movie again because this is a rewatch for me. I'd say for about the first half hour, 40 minutes or so, I was kind of like, I kind of don't mind this. This has kind of been better than some of the stuff we've been watching lately. I can definitely see a lot of Lars von Trier influence here. Like his act stuff and this sort of character is pretty much what he's been pursuing like for a good chunk of his career now. And so I'm like, okay, but it's kind of restricted by the taste of the director and writer. Who actually wrote this? Ladislav Vada.
He's one of my favorites.
Who also wrote the Three Penny Opera by Pabst, which we'll be watching one day. A whole lot of Pabst stuff. But there's this like sort of a matter of decorum and I don't know. It falls into so many tropes of this style that we've seen, and it doesn't like do anything exciting. So I mean, it really comes down to this movie has Louise Brooks in it, and that's it. I don't know that.
Louise Brooks is one of my all-time faves.
I bet you knew who she was for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, like it's like that haircut's named after her.
The Mel Brooks?
The Louise Brooks, yes.
Oh, I thought that was the Rachel.
The Rachel? No.
Do you remember the Rachel, Jarrett?
I do.
Yeah. Are you a fan?
I have to see it again.
It's just like this.
Rachel. Yeah, that's a good description of it.
I mean, it was like this.
Waving your hand across your brow.
How do you not get that? What's not to understand?
Ooh, look at that.
It was a 90s icon.
No. But didn't her hair change all the time too?
Yeah, but the Rachel was the Rachel. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You're gonna have to look into that, man.
I see what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about. Oh, there's like a hideous YouTube clip with like her with like a like a mannequin head.
Oh yeah.
The Rachel. It's more like if I was gonna make hand gestures that no one can actually see because it's an audio podcast. It's like this.
I'm not recording this for listeners at home, Jarrett. You know this is a you and me thing.
Yeah.
I know half these episodes don't actually get put on the internet. I know this.
Yeah, you know it to be true.
I know it to be true. So, what were we talking about?
The Rachel.
Oh yeah. Did you describe what you think of this movie, or did you want?
There's already see two. There's two different versions of the Rachel in this Google search.
Which one do you prefer? Rachel 1 or Rachel 2?
These are, I don't know, man.
Put it on the Discord.
Well, yeah. With yes or no.
Yes or no. Rachel 1 or Rachel 2?
Anyways, yeah. So this movie, as far as the silent film stuff goes, there's stuff I'd get to before watching this, unless you're really wanting to explore your body.
Like this kind?
Yeah.
Or a different
kind?
kind?
RJ's stretching right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's a miss. I think it's a miss. It's fine for like what it is, but it is goddamn long. And
yes.
I don't know, unless you're like really into your silent film bro mode or gal mode, person mode. You just, I don't know. Watch Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton never lets you down. Well, RJ,
except that one time.
About that, except that one time, that son of a bitch. RJ, what do you think about? What do you think about this here, Pandora's Box? Were you disappointed this wasn't about the legend, the myth, the legend of Pandora's Box?
I mean,
with fucking demons and shit
coming
out of a box.
I wasn't expecting Jack the Ripper, so I'll tell you that much. But I mean, what's left to say that hasn't been said already? Ebert put it so eloquently.
Yeah.
So eloquently. I don't know how to talk about some of these movies just because it's like you're saying, like silent film. I feel like there's so many dudes just jerking off to silent movies, as you kind of put it, just because they're like, oh yeah, like that's why The Master was like such a big thing. The Master, Bator. Naturally. I feel like some people get so hot and bothered on this shit, and it's like, yeah, I know, and they're like, well, you got to remember this movie came out over 100 years ago, and it's like, yes, I know that too.
Almost 100 years ago.
Right? Almost. But like, you know what I mean? People are like, well, it's history, and it's like, I get it, I do, but I would like to see a sizzle reel of this. You know about sizzle reels?
Yeah, sizzle reel that'll play behind a band as it plays.
I would prefer that, but I mean, even that said, like, so my point with that is, like, I'm not the guy you're going to go to for silent film recommendations, and everybody knows that. I understand their significance and their heritage and all that, and it's like I do see merit in some of that stuff, and I do see the appeal for all these film lords out there. The film lords. Even so,
the John Criterions.
The John Criterions.
The A24 t-shirt.
The A24 t-shirts of the John Criterions. But even so, I mean, I still have a silent film as my like top pick out of anything we've watched.
That's true.
So like, it's not just that it's like, I'm not a silent film guy, but there are silent films that's like, yeah, this is really spectacular. So like, there are the Joan of Arcs out there, and I haven't seen a ton of Buster Keaton's, but I have seen lots of clips of them, and it's like, I would be into these. I know I would. Like, I don't know what day is gonna be that I sit down and watch a bunch of Buster Keat May stuff, but it'll happen eventually, and I know I'll be into it. So there is silent stuff I do like. My biggest thing with this, as I said earlier, is like when I sat down and I realized that it was a 2.25 long silent film. Like, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I guarantee people in the 20s didn't want to sit in that theater for like almost 2.5 hours. I guarantee it. I know people walked out of this thing. I know it. And like walk out to go sit at home and stare at the wall or something, because it's like, I don't want to sit in that theater for over 2 hours. I wouldn't. There's, yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff in this. One thing, I don't know about you, but this took me maybe 3 days to watch.
2.
It for you?
Yeah.
2. Well, so my problem though too is like about an hour in, Criterion Channel just stopped working, and I was gonna keep watching, but it like I reloaded it like 6 times, and it was just like unable to load content. And I went, I guess I'm done watching this movie tonight, and I put on something else. But if not for that, it probably would have been 2 sittings. I would come and go with this. Like, it's a silent film, so it kind of demands attention. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can like you can stare at the ceiling for a bit. You can look at a magazine for a bit. But you do have to kind of be watching, especially like as you pointed out, there's scenes where there's characters just talking to each other. There's no dialogue, and I think that's what those film masturbators probably get into a lot, where it's like, look at the physical acting to send that message without words.
The succulence.
Just body language. And you go, yeah, I see that. That's cool. What was I saying? So there's that there too. There's some cool stuff in this. I thought there was some Wes Anderson-y stuff in this. Like, one cool shot was when she's like on a boat or something,
yep.
And you kind of cut down across floors, and I was just like, that's neat. I was like, 100 years ago that would have been really neat. It's neat now. Wes Anderson does that shit constantly. So I thought that was kind of cool. It did have kind of like a darker swing than I expected on the Frank Black-o-meter. Like, I still think it's a gray. It's like an off-white gray, but when they were doing some of the stuff, I was like, I didn't really expect that.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially the ending, I was very thrown off with the Ripper stuff. I was like, what? I was like, where is this coming from? There were a couple parts that did genuinely grab my attention. Like, I thought from the courtroom and a few of the things afterwards, I was like, this is more interesting than what we had. When it was like the circus stuff, or like whatever that stage show was, I was super uninterested in that. Like Act 2, it's like, we want you for the stage show, honey. That's the voice they used, I'm sure. I was like, is this what the other hour and 50 is going to be? It's like, I really hope not. So the courtroom stuff was aight. And some of the stuff after was okay. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's better packages of these silent film things, and in general, I think there's just better silent films. So I don't know why everyone is creaming their jeans over this thing. Like, I didn't realize it was...
You know why they're creaming their jeans, right?
Well,
I walked right into it.
Well,
what are you doing?
You know what I mean, though? Like, when you were reading all these people's reviews, and it's like, oh, it's spectacular, and it's like, enough. Enough. Like, have these people, like, did Roger Ebert even ever watch Neon Genesis? Did he watch it?
Definitely not.
Outrageous. I don't know, man. I think this is very fine in terms of the historical sense, but like, we've seen better. Like, I don't know, W.C. Fields' silent stuff is maybe better than this.
No. Those are really bad.
You're not a golf specialist, guy?
The dentist. Those were like 8 minutes long or something like that. And some of those are just like so bad.
Some of those are pretty bad. But we have watched a handful of silent stuff.
Okay,
what about King of Kings? King of Kings was better than this, surely.
Oh, fuck. I don't even remember King of Kings.
That's how good it was.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
King of Kings is better than this.
Slotted in the same fucking place, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a silent film. It's fine. There's a couple neat things in it. Is it worth 2 hours of your life? No.
I would argue no.
No, it is not. That's why I want a sizzle reel. give me the Marvel style sizzle reel with fucking, I don't know, like Sugar Ray playing over it or something, just to really like hit the 90s nostalgia.
Just wanna fly. Oh yeah, there's a bit in this from my notes of there's like the bit where like when she's having her like her little freak out in the closet behind the stage, and when he starts just like violently shaking her. There's this like the sound beats like this slide whistle because it's like playful circle. Like, it's like what?
I now that you mention it, I noticed that too. Like some of the soundtrack stuff or the score is wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like at a lot of those like there's other moments where like there's heavy implication in this movie too. We didn't mention that, but there's a lot of times it's like, listen here, B word, is what they said in the silent film, and then the music's like boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, 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 and you're just like, it seems a little too upbeat for what's happening here.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like they just put a record on it. It'll let itself work it. Yeah, let it work itself out.
Yeah, it says it'll figure itself out. But I do remember the slide whistle because I also was like, huh?
Yeah,
because he's like shaking the shit out of her,
and it's like.
Gong.
Gong.
You know about Gong? Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, bonk.
I didn't see too many bonks in this one.
Okay.
Andrea watched like 5 minutes of this, and it was when the dude was walking around with the gun, like in end of act like 2 or 3, like before the trial.
4,
and
3,
and
4.
Who fucking knows? Whenever that guy's got the gun, and Andrew's like, this guy seems like he's being dramatic. And then she watched like another minute. And she's like, I'm leaving, and I went, okay. He said, no problem, babe. You do what you got to do.
Well, see, Andy needs to have a letterbox, and she can have like comments like, "I'm leaving."
I'm leaving.
Like just the pull quotes.
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. I think he's being a little emotional there, overreacting.
Yeah,
right?
She said he's being dramatic.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. And I went, okay. She's way more of a golf specialist guy. You know about W.C. Fields' golf specialist?
I recall.
You know about the bank dick, Jarrett?
Well, bank dick's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but I mean that fat guy's in that one too.
Mm-hmm. W.C. Fields?
Yeah. He's a great, huge fat guy. You know about him?
No. Well, there's like the other guy who's like plays his like son-in-law. He's a big fat guy too.
Isn't that Punky Brewster?
No.
Oh. So anyways,
you want to hear from?
Definitely not as good as E.T.
No, I wouldn't say so.
What if Jason?
Well, it would be a short movie.
Jason versus the Ripper?
Ooh.
Yeah, see? There's legs to this.
That's like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, but if that's how this movie ended, I would have been on board the whole 2 hours.
You want to hear from people who love or hate this film?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know.
You and me are both pretty tepid on this. Tepid. That's a word. It's like mirthful. I could define it for you.
How about Nat Music? Okay. Half a star. There's a surprisingly common plot line in cinema, which I absolutely hate. The main character is an asshole who ignores the way their behavior negatively impacts others until their behavior impacts themselves, and they decide to finally change their ways just in time for the film to end. Pandora's Box is by far one of the worst examples of this plot, because with something like Top Gun or Breakfast at Tiffany's, the film at least is aware that the character needs to change. Not so here. To quote Roger Ebert's review, Pandora's Box believes more that its central asshole lives life in her own terms and is only punished for her ridiculously selfish behavior because, quote, the rest of us will grow discouraged, unquote, watching her freedom. Lulu is not Pandora, a curious woman who accidentally unleashes evil into the world. Lulu is the source, bringing misfortune to all those tempted sexually by her. She is the box containing those evils.
Oh my god. The part in the review that made me most uncomfortable is the Top Gun stuff, because it's like, can you imagine the onslaught of Top Gun comparisons that are are probably just already existing on Letterboxd that we haven't stumbled upon yet, just because of that thing, you know. This person likes The Best Years of Our Lives, a classic film, Jarrett. Classic from 1946.
Best Picture winner.
Charade. Everything Everywhere All at Once, and for a few dollars more. But they only 4.5 star total recall. That movie's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's better than this thing. Tell you that much. What else we got?
How about Morgan 1 star? Bruh, I don't care.
Did you see how many likes that review got, Jarrett?
12.
12 likes. Although, okay, I gotta say something. Morgan's bio, I'm kind of digging this. Movies suck, and you're fucking stupid if you like them. So, what else is there to say?
No.
They have favorite films, but I feel like some of these are, like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is in there, so I feel like that's being facetious.
Mm-hmm.
Not mirthful in any way.
And how about Helena 1 star? I thought this was going to actually be about the story of Pandora's Box. I'm so disappointed.
I mean, that would have been cool. It's a metaphorical Pandora's Box, Jarrett.
Women, am I right?
One of their favorite films is Midsommar. And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Women,
and I'm
right?
thinking of ending things.
Women, am I right?
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I realized I don't want to get sued. You know what I mean?
And then from 5-star reviews,
Uh-oh.
literally there is only one Louise Brooks. Literally.
Well, yeah, there's only one of anybody. Polo X. Get the fuck out of here.
Paul Ox.
Paul Ox. They just they watched Pandora's Box 2 days in a row.
Shit.
What are you doing, bud?
Someone here said this movie reminded them of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I was gonna say this is kind of like a Forrest Gump situation, because this lady keeps getting thrown in.
That's musings of a cigarette smoking man. Where he goes, life is like a box of chocolates.
Yes, yeah. Skane Noise, I believe, is a listener.
Yeah.
Favorite films include Fanny and Alexandra, The Tempest, Young Girls at Rochefort, and The Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
D. Voggett, 5 stars. Louise Brooks is the heart of this movie. And then this is followed by Colleen. Got totally swept away by this. Louise Brooks' character has this unique blend of raw sexuality plus innocence.
Ew.
The ability to manipulate everyone around her, sowing the seeds of her own destruction. Her sheer star persona just launches this thing into another orbit.
I mean, I doubt it. Do you know what I mean? I doubt that happened. This person watched a movie once. Probably not going to
someone
talk
named
about
Cuntlicious with a K. Refers to Louise Brooks as a silent era siren.
Okay, well, this person just gave Devilman 5 stars.
Oh.
And Ichi the Killer, also 5 stars.
There you go.
There is 0 half-star ratings. But here's the big one, Jarrett.
No.
The big one. And when I find it, you're going to be blown away. They gave 5 stars to this film. You're going to say, what film is that? Let me tell you right now. The film they gave 5 stars to, Jarrett, it's going to blow your mind. Suspiria remake?
Ah.
I don't know. They have like 500 5-star films and 0 star films after 5. So
Okay.
You know that old chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So films.
Films.
Yeah.
They're good for masturbating too for some, and for others, not.
Tell me more about that.
Any final thoughts on Pandora's Box?
It's definitely a movie that exists historically, and it's 100% a movie that doesn't need to be watched.
True.
Yeah.
Like most movies.
Well, no movie needs to be watched, but this is a movie that certifiably doesn't need viewing.
I can imagine you walking around the hallways in high school, pushing Reservoir Dogs on VHS into people's hands.
Oh, no, not Reservoir Dogs, my man. Fight Club, Scarface,
Goodfellas,
and
Reservoir Dogs. I mean, take your pick of Tarantino.
Yeah. But Scarface and Fight Club for sure.
I own every single one of those movies, just to make that
on
clear.
VHS.
I didn't own them all on VHS, but because I Fight Club was in the DVD era.
How many copies of Fight Club do you own?
One.
That's it, hey? Is it a steelbook?
No, I don't think so. No, I might have had two then, because I had the old DVD, the cool one, that like Seven had, the slipcasey one, and then I would have bought it on Blu-ray for like $5 at King of Trade.
I had the steelbook of Fight Club, and I gave it to the Salvation Army.
Wow. Yes. What if you need to watch it?
I don't.
Okay.
I've seen it.
After the break, it's Jason versus Jack the Ripper, baby.
What if?
Who comes out on top?